I've been involved in traditional business, I guess, for quite a while. Network marketing world. That's where I kind of got my start in business, and built some pretty big organizations, and then kind of parlayed that into a few different big traditional businesses. Over the last 3 years, I've built 3 different companies that hit over $1 billion in revenue. And I think for me, this project, I told a friend the other day, I was like, this is by far the biggest project I've ever been involved in. And whether we pull it off or not, that remains to be seen. But I was like, if we pull this off, it's going to dwarf everything I've ever done. And that includes, a $10 billion accounting firm that we built up in the last 2.5, almost 3 years. And that's not a long time to build up that kind of revenue. But this will, if we pull it off, will dwarf everything that did. And I'm going to share with you guys just a quick overview, and I'll go through some of the kind of compensation highlights, how you could benefit financially by being a part of what we're doing. But I want to share with you kind of how I ended up getting here today and involved in this space, because being a traditional business owner, I was involved in the cryptocurrency space a little bit, just more as an investor. I started buying Bitcoin a while ago, right around $210 a coin. And I've never sold it. I've been buying it ever since. I had another big buy at 40,000, and then I literally just sent a wire today, and I don't know what I bought at, 68, 69,000, something like that, just from friends. They know to come to me if they want to sell Bitcoin, and I'll buy it. And I feel like it's undervalued. I think it's probably 11, 12 times below what it should be. I think it belongs at $1 million, 1.2 million a coin. Now, I might be wrong, but that's why I'm buying it. That's why I hold on to it. And that's really all I did in the crypto space. Then back in 2017, early 2018, a good friend of mine, I was working on a software project in the cryptocurrency space with him. And he said, Tony, he's like, you got to buy these nodes for Gala Games. And I was like, what the heck is a node? And I'll explain it more in depth as we go through the presentation. But he goes, basically, these guys are going to borrow your computer and they'll run their business on your computer. And I go, okay, and what do I get? He goes, well, they pay you in these Gala tokens. It's called Gala Games, and they'll give you these Gala tokens. I said, well, what's a Gala token worth? And this back in 2018, he goes, right now, nothing. And I just remember saying, no, it sounds awesome. So these guys are going to borrow my computer and pay me in magic internet money that doesn't have any value. I was like, this is great. And he goes, well, it doesn't have value now, but he goes, if people start playing those games, it'll have a lot of value. And I was like, all right, that's interesting. And I was supposed to call him in a few weeks, and I was going to buy 10 grand worth of nodes. And I just forgot. Like, I was busy, didn't think much of it, whatever. And I wasn't going to play games online or anything. So it just didn't cross my mind to call him back. Fast forward about 1.5 years later, my friend had made a few $100 million in that project. And we went back, and I own other businesses with him. We have a software company out of Dubai together. And we went back about, maybe 8 months ago. And I was like, how many nodes would I have owned for 10 grand? And we did the math. And how many tokens, those Gala tokens, would they have processed? And it ended up, depending on when I would have started selling the tokens, somewhere between $5 and $10 million is what my 10 grand would have yielded. And that's not even the worst part necessarily for me missing out. If I had those nodes, they would still today be creating those Gala tokens for helping Gala run their gaming network. And I just looked the other day, like, Gala had the daily volume traded on CoinMarketCap. If you're into the crypto space, it was $427 million that day in tokens that had traded. And I was like, I messed up. Like, I thought back and I was like, man, I don't know what I was busy doing, but it couldn't have been that important that I couldn't have made a 10-minute phone call to my buddy and sent him the 10 grand. And I just didn't do it. And so October of last year, he called me and he said, hey, you got to meet with those guys that created the blockchain for Gala Games. He goes, they have 12 projects and they're getting ready to market them to the world. Some of them they've had working on for like 2-3 years, and now they're getting ready to market. And he goes, you need to see what they're doing. And because I had seen these guys in 2017, 2018, they had like 7 developers working with them back then. Today they have over 200. So when he called me, I said, hey, let's go. You know, I met these guys again in Vegas. I'd known them for several years, but they came in, they had leaders from different projects, and I'm going to share some of those people with you. One of them, I knew who she was. And when you kind of hear about who she was, you'll understand why I got really excited about what the projects they were working on really could potentially do in the marketplace. So that said, I'm going to share my screen. This is high risk, high reward. There's certain investments I invest in that are low risk. I have legacy oil wells. And all that means is like my grandkids will have to figure out how to cap those wells when they're done pumping oil. They pump for 65, 70 years. I also do oil exploration, where when I invest in that, sometimes they come up with a dry well. And if they don't strike oil, whatever I invest in that project is gone. This is no different. Like if you buy nodes, that's going to generate this magic internet money in whichever project you purchase the nodes in. And if no one ever uses that project, if the community doesn't ever grow, those tokens won't have any value. But if people start using those projects, and there's a lot of people around the world that are participating in the community, those tokens could be worth more than gold for sure. So our legal team is really making sure that all of us are crossing the T's, dotting the I's with each and every project. I've worked with Daniel, Kat, John. Ken Cuccinelli is our head legal advisor. He was the former attorney general for the state of Virginia, and he was the deputy secretary of Homeland Security for the United States of America for several years. And so as the laws change, the rules change, our legal team is on top of everything, making sure we're doing things the right way. The projects, I'm not going to share all, 14 of them that are pretty major right now. I'll give you a few highlights. Galvin is our health and wellness project. I met with Dr. Adam Sharp, very, very impressive gentleman. He was high up at Kaiser Permanente in California, and then he ended up leaving Kaiser to work on this project. And it's basically geared to do a few things. Number one, give us as individuals control over our own health and wellness. There's an app you can download to your phone, the Galvin app. You can hook a wearable up to it as well, but it'll listen to your voice. It uses the Amazon Alexa AI technology, and it can literally tell you whether you're high energy, low energy, whether you're high stress or low stress. And if you're high stress, it'll give you activities to lower your stress. If you're low energy, it'll give you activities to increase your energy. And if you do them, it'll reward you in that token for basically getting healthier. Now, the big goal for Galvin is to allow us as individuals to store our health records, our DNA records, all on the blockchain. And if you did that, and I don't know if you've ever tried to get your health records, I realized pretty quickly, I was doing some stem cell stuff. I was asking Via Christi Sports Medicine for my health records. It was kind of like it was their health records, and I was just begging them to let me have access to them. I had to jump through so many hoops, and that's not how it should be. I should be able to go, hey, Via Christi, here's access to my health records. And then when I leave that hospital, I can pull them back away from them. But the end goal is for us to be able to anonymously share our health records, our DNA records with the blockchain, get paid to do it, and then AI will aggregate all of our health data, because that's not doable right now. The health records are also fractured and so many different rules. But if we controlled them on the blockchain, and AI could consolidate with, a few hundred users, which is what's on this call tonight, not that big of a deal with that much health data. But with a few million, it's even better. A few 100 million. What if we had 1 billion users? What that would do is pretty much eliminate rare diseases from the planet. Because if your neighbor's daughter came down with some rare disease and you were part of this project, you go, no, you got to download this app, load your daughter's health records on here, load her DNA on here. Within a nanosecond, the AI technology would say this is not that rare. There's 7,482 people in our database that have the exact same diagnosis, the exact same disease. And actually, these 783 people between 3 different continents utilized this treatment program and had amazing success. AI's recommendation is get with the current physician, share this data, and see if they're willing to start the treatment procedure right away. That's the big goal for Galvin, is to help people be healthier and help the world be healthier as well. Grow is one of my favorite blockchain projects. This is our agricultural project. This is basically allowing us as consumers to control and understand everything we're eating and putting in our body. Because most people don't think about it, but there's about 10 companies that control pretty much everything we eat. There's a couple conglomerates that are above these guys like Cargill and Monsanto, but you've got, Mondelez, which was Kraft, Kellogg's, General Mills, Unilever. There's a lot of major companies. I would argue sometimes they're probably filling us more with chemicals than they are actual food. And what we can do is give you back control over what you're putting in your body. Imagine ordering a steak at a restaurant and it comes out with a QR code. And if you snap that QR code, it would say, hey, Tiffany, this is cattle number 1176459 from Royal Ranch Farms in Washington State. This is certified free-range Angus, never been injected with hormones, never been injected with steroids. It grazed on 1,167.5 pounds of grass during its lifetime here at the farm. We processed this cow 23 hours ago. It was shipped refrigerated, never frozen. Now it's there for you to enjoy. And if you like that steak, if you go, man, this is one of the best steaks I've ever had, you can actually use the app and order it directly from the farm. You'll get it cheaper than you would at the grocery store. And the farmer, by cutting out those commodities markets and companies like Monsanto and Cargill, they would actually make a more profit selling directly to you than going through the commodities markets. So it's a win-win on both sides of the equation. The other thing that's great, I have the Grow nodes that operate the Grow network, and I get the Grow tokens for doing that. There's actually a Grow farm 7 minutes from where I live here in Puerto Rico. I can use my Grow tokens to buy steak, bacon, eggs, fruits, vegetables, milk, honey, whatever I want that's there, that's sourced at that farm. I can use my tokens to pay for it. I don't have to pull out a credit card. I don't have to pull out my wallet. I just pull out my phone, pay with cryptocurrency, pay with my tokens.
I actually did a Zoom this morning with a close friend of mine who is already in the ag space, and he's telling me how they're already moving forward with government agencies requiring this, requiring food be on the blockchain so that it's trackable, traceable, so that you can know what's in your food. So this is something that is going to blow up because it's already where the government agencies are asking companies to go.
Element is our mining blockchain. This is basically a blockchain certificate that mines can get if they're open to an audit 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. And this is to ensure that they utilize ethical mining practices. Tiffany's has partnered with our company to basically blockchain all their jewelry. We have the 7th most valuable diamond in Tiffany's history. It's about a mile away from where I live right now at one of my buddy's houses. Through this project, they want him to basically put that blockchain certificate on that diamond. It would tell you who found that diamond, how old they are, how long they've been at that mine. Because I think if we all had a choice, we'd always want an adult mining for us rather than some 11-year-old kid at gunpoint mining for lithium to put in our smartphones, right? And not only that, when the mines are depleted, our blockchain certificate ensures that they come in behind that dead land and they plant mangrove trees, they backfill with farmable soil. That way they're not just leaving dead holes in the ground everywhere. So that's the mining blockchain that we're excited about. This is probably the reason that I went so aggressive into these projects initially. I own a credit card processing company that's pretty good size. We do maybe 4 to 5 billion a year in transactions. And I was in the presentation for these different projects, and I saw Kathy Roberts walk into the room. And because of my background in credit card processing and banking, I knew who she was. And I had a friend there with me. I was like, hey, I was like, do you know who that is? He was like, he's not a banking guy. I was like, he's like, no. I was like, she's one of the founders of Discover Card. And he's like, really? He goes, I use Discover Card. I was like, yeah, I got a Discover Card too. I was like, you can thank her. And I said, she was the president of Discover Bank for several years as well. And I told him, I said, man, if Kathy, because she was retired, I said, man, if Kathy came out of retirement to work on this project, I was like, we better pay really close attention, because I was like, she's way smarter than either of us will ever be. And I said, she knows something we don't, bro. And he said, all right, man. You know, so we paid attention, and she shared with me the Switch wallet. And actually, she was able to get me on the beta of that wallet. It's live now. It was the best crypto wallet I've ever seen in my life.
You know, back in the late 90s, she worked for Sears. Sears tasked her to head up a way of giving back rewards to their shoppers. And they went to Visa, they went to MasterCard, and they told them, sorry, we don't do that. So Sears, at least here in the US being so big, decided, well, we could create our own. So she created Discover Card, Discover Bank, started giving people back rewards for their shopping. And I mean, nowadays, where do you not see a credit card that doesn't give you 2% for putting in gas? They give you rewards left and right, whether it be air miles or some other reward. First ones that did this.
They had a non-custodial wallet. What that means is if they went out of business tomorrow, all my crypto that's on that non-custodial wallet, I can go get it. I have a 12 seed phrase. I can get a cold wallet, download it, put it in my computer, put in my seed phrase, recover all my crypto. No big deal. They have a custodial wallet, which I tell people only move to a custodial wallet what you're wanting to use. But if you put Bitcoin in that custodial wallet or Ethereum, it's immediately available on the Switch Visa card. You could go out to dinner. If you had $1,000 in Bitcoin in that custodial wallet and you wanted to use it, you just swipe your Visa card, pay your $200 for dinner. It'll sell $200 worth of Bitcoin, pay off your debit card. Boom, you just use crypto to pay for your meal. That's the missing piece in the blockchain world. My mom would never, she has Bitcoin, but she'd never know how to use it. But she knows how to use a Visa card. And so if I put some Bitcoin on her wallet, on her custodial wallet, she could use her Visa and use Bitcoin all day long, Ethereum all day long. Eventually, every one of the tokens from our project will be available on that Visa card. So yeah, so if you've got regular people that can use cryptocurrency and blockchain without knowing they're using crypto and blockchain, they just know their lives better, their lives are easier. That's how the internet works. My mom doesn't know how to code or what HTML is, but she can check out on Amazon. She can watch the Pittsburgh Penguins on ESPN Plus if she wants to. She knows how to do all that. And so that's where we're headed. And that's what Switch helps us to do. The two newest projects I actually helped introduce into the blockchain. Rev is our automotive project, all cars. This is one that Ferrari's actually already a part of. They're wanting us to NFT their Ferraris as they come off the line. We also have Rev Rideshare, which think about Uber being completely decentralized. And the cool thing about our projects is they're already live. Like if you're in Miami, if you're in Jupiter, Florida, Palm Beach, New Orleans, you can take a ride on Rev. And it's about 15 to 20% cheaper than if you took an Uber on the exact same ride. If you're a driver, you're making about 30 to 40% more on the exact same ride versus Uber or Lyft. Now, you can help us grow this ecosystem. You could say, listen, I've got a bunch of people who like to drive. Imagine making $1. If you introduced me as a driver for Rev and you made $1 every time I took somebody on a ride forever. Doesn't sound like a lot, but the average driver will do about 20 rides a day. What if you had 10 drivers making $200 a day? 5 days a week, making $4 or $5 grand a month because you introduced drivers, not including the token rewards you'd be getting for bringing in drivers to the blockchain. Now, if you're a driver and you pick someone up, you get tokens. You get real money, but you also get tokens. If you're a rider and you get in the car, you get tokens. You tip the driver, you get tokens. Driver gets tipped, they get tokens. Give the driver a rating, you get tokens. Give him a 5-star rating, the driver gets tokens. So we have rewards for proof of action that tie to real world revenue. Our newest project is called Rally. It's launching in a couple weeks. It's like Zoom, only better. And what's way better is you get paid to use it. There's no real loyalty in the video conferencing space. If you think about it, if Sed would have sent me a Google Meet link, I'd be on Google Meet. If he would have sent us a Microsoft Teams, I'd be on Microsoft Teams. But he sent us a Zoom. But if Cedric was getting paid in token rewards for using a platform, he'd never send another Zoom link again. He'd want to get paid. Who wouldn't? So this, I'm probably most bullish on this project because at the end of the day we launch this project, we'll be doing meetings in China, Indonesia, Japan, South America, Africa, New Zealand, Australia, Canada, every state in the United States. I mean, it'll go viral globally day number one.
This is the reason why they've already had huge calls with banks, government institutions, with everybody trying to get on this, because Zoom can be hacked. A hacker can get on this Zoom. A hacker can get on, some banking Zoom or some government Zoom, and they're now listening to sensitive data that shouldn't be shared with anybody else. So a lot of these companies are really looking how blockchain can now provide security when they do these video conference calls. And that's what Rally is doing, bringing security, bringing safety to this platform and rewarding everybody for using it.
To get started, it's free. You can download a free smart wallet. Whoever invited you on to the webinar, they can get you their link, get you locked in, get you signed up, download your free smart wallet. If you're interested in participating more than just, hey, I just want to get in and kind of use some of the services, I would tell you, figure out what projects get you the most excited. I would pick up at least one win node, which actually there's a coupon, they're $500 each. One win node minimum. I run 5 of them. There's an algorithm reason I do that. I get a little bit extra points, which gives me extra rewards, but you certainly don't ever need to buy one win node. If you sold 5 win nodes, the algorithm gives you 1 free win node. So you can actually earn a win node if you don't want to purchase one, but I ended up getting 5 of them. And then I looked at the different projects and I figured out which projects I was most excited about. And I started buying nodes in those projects. In October, I bought $3 million worth of these nodes, all of the different projects. I spread them out. And then as I learned more and more, and I met with Kathy again, I met with some of the people that were really putting these projects together, I started to realize, like, this is probably, in the cryptocurrency ecosystem as a whole, this is probably the last bull run where people like us can make 500 or 1,000x on our efforts that we put in, on our money, everything that we put into these projects. Now, we could certainly make 0x. I mean, that's why it's risk. But what I love most about these projects is I knew I could help move the needle. I knew if I brought in a bunch of people to use the software for video conferencing, my token value would probably go up. If I brought in a bunch of users for rideshare, the rideshare token would go up. And it's an ecosystem that's synergistic. If I'm driving here in Puerto Rico for the rideshare and getting those Rev tokens, I could go to the grow farm and use them. I could buy my groceries with my rideshare tokens. They'd give me my bacon, eggs, milk, cheese, biscuits, whatever they sourced on the farm there, and I'd walk out. That's a real world utility for blockchain and cryptocurrency that's never happened in history. As you help to build the ecosystem, 70% of what comes in is paid out through the node owner network. So there's a lot that can get paid out. And our timing, I heard a billionaire say the other day, I was on a Zoom with him, and he goes, timing isn't everything. It's the only thing. And our timing couldn't be better. Actually, the World Economic Forum back in 21 said that blockchain is set to disrupt $867 trillion in traditional markets. Now today it's over 1.3 quadrillion, which is kind of nuts to think it could be that big, but it's going to happen with or without us. I remember back in the 90s, companies like Google, you know, Amazon came out. Everybody, oh, they're internet companies. It's an internet company. They're one of those internet companies. Nobody says that anymore. It's just companies. Like every company's on the internet. Like if you're not a real business for the most part. Like you're not going to be that big, that successful. So right now, when I explain to people what I'm doing, I'm like, I got these blockchain projects, these blockchain companies. I have to say that a year or two from now, it'll just be companies. And when that happens, the people that were involved in internet companies, we know their names. Jeff Bezos, Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk with PayPal. There's so many people that are household names, not just in the US, but around the planet, because they were building in the internet when they were called internet companies. What is possible for us building in the blockchain space when everybody's calling it a blockchain company? It's nonstop, guys. I would tell you, create your free account, go through our compliance training in the back office, explore your favorite projects, pick up nodes in your favorite projects, and you're on your way to creating that massive community. Now, how you earn, I'll finish up with this. There's two different sides to compensation. There's USDT compensation, which is basically money right now that pays out daily. And you can make some good money there. My buddy Darren, his first 5 weeks has made over $80,000 in USDT, meaning he pulled it out, put it in his bank account. But he's made millions of token rewards, which right now, there's some value there. He could sell it. One day he had 1.2 million win token rewards for the day, which, you know, that's maybe $1,000, $2,000, not bad. But he's holding on to those because if that token does anything near what the Gala token did, he might have had a $600,000 or $800,000 day if he sheds those tokens after they skyrocket. Now, again, could they go to zero? For sure. But he can help build the community to help ensure that the value goes up.